Vanakkam and welcome to this Madras Day special right here on NDTV Hindu. I'm Evelyn Matthew and joining me here is features editor Anuradha Anand. Now the 22nd of August may be celebrated as Madras Day and celebrating different aspects of the city. But there's so much of rich culture and heritage about this wonderful grand old city of ours that it's been going on for the past few weeks and even goes in fact into the first week of September. And today we start the show in the most apt place possible, the Fort St. George.
Yeah, as Evelyn says, this is the fitting place to start because the city of Madras actually evolved around Fort St. George. And even though the East India Company began their licensed trading at Surat initially, they wanted to be closer to the Malaccan Strait, so they bought this piece of coastal land from Damerla Chennapanayaka, and the construction of the fort was completed on 23rd April 1639, and because that was St. George's Day, the patron St. George's birthday, who's the patron saint of England, the fort came to be named as Fort St. George. Now we are going to go on a heritage walk with journalist and publisher Vincent D'Souza. He's going to take us around the fort and tell us some very interesting anecdotes about Madras, and we would like you very much to join us. Obviously, the number of people who join you on these walks have grown in number because we had problems getting in because the police said there were too many people, and that's a good sign actually.
Yeah.
What else have you planned this year?
Well, it's good. It's a good sign. Yeah, lots of people come in, especially in the fort. Of course, there's a security sort of issue, and that's why I think people take the opportunity. But I think there are also people wanting to discover their city, and the part is that if we can have good guides and tell stories, then people are willing to come with this. The walks are an essential part of the Madras Day, and then we've got talks and discussions and contests and stuff like that. But I'm kind of concentrating on two walks. My second walk will be on Mount Road, which is where I lived and I love the road. That's my road. So I'll take people down on Old Mount Road and tell them the stories that I know and take them to little, nooks and corners.
This year you've taken an initiative to really press for the Heritage Act. A lot of signature campaigns going on. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, we thought that besides all the events and stuff like that, there must be something substantial. And since we're focused on heritage, I mean, people have been framing the rules and they are in kind of cold storage or whatever. And we are appealing now, sending this campaign out to say, let's have the Heritage Act, which will help to preserve a lot of the old buildings, the natural heritage and everything, the living heritage here. We're hoping that people like this will be sensitive, sign up, and then we'll pass it off to the Chief Minister. Hopefully she'll look at it.
All right. I think that leaves us with some food for thought, right? I mean, because that's something we really need in a grand old city like Madras. And tagging on that food note, it's time to take a look at some of the flavors of Namma Madras. Take a look at the story. Madrasapattanam, Madras, Chennai, one of the first few cities of modern India. Old Madras has blossomed now into a fast-paced city of Namma Chennai. In some ways, never changing, but in some, ever changing. Today, I take your taste buds on a tour to places and food that's very Madras. And it's only apt that I start with a steaming cup of filter coffee and pair it with the best idli sambar in town. Our first and obvious stop, the Ratna Cafe. The Ratna Cafe, as old as independent India, and stepping into this space is a tradition everyone willingly follows, drawn as much by memories as the generous serving of sambar.
When my father was a bachelor way back in 1970s, he was staying around in Triplicane, and he used to save 2 rupees, 3 rupees, whatever he could way back then, and he used to come here. So I thought, well, let's continue the legacy.
But if you're wondering about the ingredients that go into their free-flowing sambar, well, mum's the word. Is there any secret recipe in your sambar?
Yeah, it's a secret.
I'm at the Mount Road right now, where at one of the humble little restaurants here, the Chicken 65 was born, or so they say. We're going over to the Buhari restaurant there, which has many claims to fame. Buhari Hotel has an interesting story behind almost every item. Its dum biryani gives most joints in the city a run for their money. After all, a lot of research is believed to have gone into their recipe back in the days of the first Mr. Buhari.
Actually, my grandfather, before opening the store, he tried more than 200 recipes of biryani and he refined it to the taste buds of the Chennai peoples.
Now, to me as a foodie, a meal is not quite complete without that sweet delight. And so, a first-timer to the city of Chennai is often recommended the lassi here at the Bombay Halwa House. But you need not stop with just that, you see. We've had our fill, it's only fair that we share the taste of Madras and the flavors of our grand city with the rest of the world, and it is possible. Even if it's just a small packet of murukkus or some of those essential mixes, why compromise when you can make it a grand affair?
Amma Kaimanam. If you want something like that, then definitely you should stop by here.
So now that you have snacked and dined in the signature style, may this Madras day take you back in time and reaffirm you as a Chennai foodie if you aren't one already.
Well, that truly was indeed a grand beginning, Evelyn. And now we move on to fashion, but we're standing right outside St. Mary's Church and the organ music from inside is so beautiful. And I can't help getting carried away, but
absolutely,
we have to stick to work now. No matter how many fashion brands have taken Chennai by storm, I truly believe that the sari and the veshti are two of the most elegant garments ever made for man and woman. But let's see if our reporter Natasha agrees with that.
It's thick traffic right here in T Nagar, a usual scenario. But why does everyone come here to Panagal Park? It's of course the shopping. You have options like RMKV wedding sarees, Sarvana stores, Kumaran silks. However, today my pick is Nalli's, of course, a building that has been here since 1951. My perfect choice to show you the variety of Tamil silk sarees.
1911, the capital of India is changed from Calcutta to Delhi. King George V came there to conduct the Darbar. So in that memory, they want to make one saree. So they gave that saree to my grandfather only.
This gorgeous piece, over 6 feet long. Now if you ever go to Tirupati, you would know that this is what the god wears there. It's time to find out what the politicians from the city have been up to. Would their palette have changed over the years?
Invariably, when I go for political meetings, and definitely when I travel in the districts, I wear a white Vestian shirt. The youth Congress members, you'd seldom find them wearing Vestian shirt. They are dressed sometimes appallingly in jeans with many other appendages sticking out of them.
Is there another face to Chennai apart from the traditional Indian ethnic wear, South Indian wear rather? And to answer that particular question is Vivek Karunakaran.
I'd like to show you one piece from my Urban Vagabond collection. It's wash silk, which we paneled together, but still we've tried to create a wonderful dress, which is Mirabai's bubble hem. Very, very fashion forward. Now, talking about Chennai and how fashion forward it is now, from silk we've also moved on to something as contemporary and fun and exciting as this, which is a beautiful cozy dress, where one can just team it with a dress or a ganji and denim and just have it dressed up for a beautiful brunch. So this is what Chennai is today, and that's what I'm happy about.
You know, Anu, I couldn't help but agree with Natasha and with you that this roll of, 6 yards, be it silk or cotton, is one of the most elegant. And that's the reason I'm wearing one today.
You know, what I would like to see Evelyn in is a 9 yards Ombadu Gajam, as we say.
And that would be a challenge.
And to see if you can carry it off as elegantly as you wear.
Maybe the next Madras day. Or maybe for Pongal, right? It's time for us to slip into a very short break, but let's find out how much you know about the city of Madras. Take a look at this quiz and find out if you know some of the answers to this and lots more up on the other side.
Well, it's always fun to catch a couple of gentlemen off guard at the beach especially. So here goes a rapid fire session when it comes to Madras Day. Now there is a festival which is celebrated in Chennai and all throughout Tamil Nadu. Can you guess what it is, especially when it comes to Besant Nagar?
Diwali.
Would you like to give it a shot? It's got to do with Besant Nagar. That's the clue.
Lovers Day.
Which filmmaker's company is called Madras Talkies?
AVM Studios.
No. What are the two terminals in Chennai airport called?
Nehru Terminal? I don't know. Gandhi and Nehru.
Do you know what Rajnikant's phone number is?
666 666
9789 449
988. 8888. Like 8. Know what are the ingredients of Chinnamalai pork curry?
Pork, masala, achi masala.
Name the national award-winning director of the movie Kutti.
Challukutti.
Which Chennai resident has reached the semi-finals of the Wimbledon Tennis Championship?
Sania Mirza is from Hyderabad, right? I think so. From Hyderabad is there, Sania Mirza. Yeah, she belongs to Pakistan, right?